Department of Ophthalmology for giving me this opportunity to come here and talk to you. When Dr. Badrinath called me, I asked him what would you like me to talk about. And he said it would be good if I could highlight on my life in the army and my career as an ophthalmologist. So here I go. I hope after Dr. Moni's very erudite speech, I do some justice and hold your interest. I don't speak Kannada very well, so I hope you will excuse me for not addressing you in Kannada. After my schooling, I gained admission to the prestigious Armed Forces Medical College, and after a course of 4.5 years, I was commissioned into the Army as a lieutenant. Now this commission, this is a picture of me as a captain many years ago, and this commission is by the Honorable President of India. This commission is for life, and the rank held by a defense officer is for life. This privilege is granted only to the armed forces to keep their ranks even after retirement. What it says is, an army officer or a defense officer retires from active duty but never from his rank. The President of India, my commission was by the Honorable Dr. Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, and this commission, like what I told you, enforces on us certain discipline. The army, how is army life different from civil life? In the army training, while as a doctor, we are provided training in arms and combat. In the army, we are told we are soldiers first and doctors later. Here you see me holding a 4.5 SLR. We were taught how to fire this, and on the next picture, you can see me and my course mates being taught how to evacuate casualties during war. Now, the army is made up of arms and services. The arms are the ones who fight in the front, and the services are the ones who provide them support. The Army Medical Corps is considered a service because we provide medical care and health care to the soldier in the front and to his family at the rear. Now, every unit, these arms and services are basically divided into small units, and each unit is commanded by a commanding officer. Now this commanding officer and his wife take every new entrant under their wings and teach them the norms and culture of army life. Army is not a career. Army is a way of life. And army has taught me many lessons, which I would like to share with you, some of which I would like to share with you today. The first thing is, army teaches us adaptability. What is adaptability? The army soldier learns to live in extreme cold weathers where the temperature may drop down to -40 degrees, and extreme hot weather like the Thar Desert where the temperature may go up to 40 degrees Celsius. Now this is a picture of my husband on the left, who was posted to 11 Kumaon, which was stationed at Dras. I don't know how many of you must have read in the newspapers, but he was recently awarded the Kirti Chakra posthumously by the President of India. This young officer is a graduate of the Armed Forces Medical College. He was posted to Siachen Glacier, and he was with the 26th Punjab Regiment. One night, their tents caught fire, and at that altitude and with the raging winds, the fire could not be brought under control. This officer managed to get out and save himself, but he knew his duty was to save others, and whatever he could. He went rushing back into the tents and tried to save others and costly medical equipment and drugs. In the process, he lost his life. So to the left side, you can see his wife and mother receiving the Kirti Chakra from the Honorable President of India posthumously. Here, the army soldier knows that when he goes to battle or when he is called out anywhere, his family is looked after. When he is injured, he knows he is well looked after by the army. The army knows, or rather I shall say, the defense services know how to care for their own. Discipline. The next thing the army taught me was discipline. This is well endorsed in this commissioning order which each officers received from the Honorable President of India. And there it says, I shall read for the benefit of all, I therefore charge and command you carefully and diligently to discharge your duty in that rank or in any higher rank to which you may from time to time hereafter be promoted or appointed, of which a notification will be made in the Gazette of India, and to obey such directions as from time to time shall receive from me, or me is the President of India, who is the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, or from any of your superior officers, and to observe and execute the rules, regulations and orders for the governance of the regular army. And I hereby charge and command the officers and men subordinate to you to conduct themselves with all due respect and obedience to you as their superior officer. So this discipline is very well ingrained in every army, or for that matter, every defense personnel. Now, discipline also means that no rules are meant to be broken. However stupid they may seem to us, some rules, they are meant to be observed. Any kind of reprisal has to take place through a proper protocol. And then, the discipline also means being punctual. 20 years in civil life, I have still yet to get used to the civilian sense of timing. Reliability. The army man is reliable and dependable. For him, duty comes before self and the country comes before all. And the army man is on duty 24/7. He can be called at very short notice to assist in any kind of internal operations. You all know, whether it be the 26/11, whether it be the floods at Kedarnath, or it is the recent Wayanad slides. It is the army which is called to help in the rescue operation, search and salvage. Army men do not get any personal glory. They do their job and they leave. It is the politicians who take on the glory after the act is over. Army teaches us respect for age and seniority. Many times we are saddled with superior officers who are insensitive and sometimes may even seem downright stupid. But this is never, and I mean never, a cause for insubordination. No disrespect and no indiscipline. Whatever complaint or grievance we have has to be addressed through the proper channel. Respect for age and seniority is observed everywhere. Every occasion in the army has a laid down protocol. Here I have shown a picture of an army mess party in progress. Here you can see the chief guest has taken his plate, the senior officers have taken their plate, and now the junior officers are helping themselves. In the army, in the army, whatever be the occasion, ladies come first. The lady wives are treated first. They first take their plates, then followed by the men. Secularism. Nowhere in the country is secularism practiced as what you see in the army. The army soldier is surrounded by men and women from different states, of different religion and of different backgrounds. No questions are asked about your caste or your creed. We do not wear our religion or our caste on our sleeves. Every festival is celebrated with equal gusto and equal fervor. Every unit in the army has a place reserved called the Sarva Dharma Sthal. This Sarva Dharma Sthal serves as a mosque, as a temple, as a church or a gurudwara, depending upon the occasion, as the occasion demands. Now I have put this picture here of a Sarva Dharma Sthal presented by the 3rd Jat Regiment. I don't know how many of you know or ever heard of certain TED Talks or heard of this Jat Regiment. This Jat Regiment was instrumental in capturing a point called Dogra in Lahore in the 1965 operations. This Jat regiment was made up of Haryanvi soldiers, Haryanvi Jats, and they were commanded by an Anglo-Indian officer, Colonel Desmond Hayes. This was one of the bloodiest and the fiercest battles ever fought in the annals of Indian war history. And this Jat regiment, on this 3 days battle, after which they captured the Dograi point, they were recipients of 3 Mahavir Chakras, 6 Veer Chakras, and some 9 Sena medals. And they have been given the privilege of calling themselves the Dograi Battalion. So here I want to highlight how an Anglo-Indian officer could enthuse his men to show such fervor that they were able to achieve their goal. So secularism is practiced, I would say, mainly in the army. Now there is a downside too. I should not paint a rosy picture always. There is the frequent shifts we have experienced in the army. What do these frequent shifts mean? Sometimes you do not stay in a station for even 1 year. At the most it may be sometimes 2 or 3 years. What does this mean for the families? The families are uprooted from a 12th standard. In the army, the kids, army kids, make friends every station, make best friends in every station. My daughter, from kindergarten to 12th standard, has studied in about 8 schools. This kind of experience, meeting new kids, eating different kinds of food, and meeting new people everywhere, learning to make friends, stands these children in very good stead, makes them bold and self-reliant. My daughter at the age of 13 has travelled alone from Delhi to Chandigarh by train, with nobody travelling along with her or accompanying her. The second downside is the frequent temporary duties. Though we are posted to a station, many times we are called to another station to stay overnight or sometimes more than a night or even longer to provide medical cover when the specialist or the concerned medical officer there has gone on leave. Now my husband as a physician has been on frequent temporary duties for even 4 to 6 weeks, and I was often called as an ophthalmologist from Jhansi to Prayagraj, which was then Allahabad those days, to provide ophthalmology specialist, my opinion on men who are being selected to become officers. I had to examine their eyes and see if they are fit to be given commission in the army. And this means my daughter of 8 years old, I didn't know where to leave her. But the army as a family, the unit as a family really helps at such times. I had a gynecologist colleague and his working wife who had 2 children, little children, and they had his mother used to stay with them. They voluntarily invited her in and told me that you can always keep her with us when you have to go on these temporary duties. And my daughter was so comfortable there, she started calling the old lady the Dadi. The old lady became her Dadi too. So this is the kind of life we face in the army. My husband has been on temporary duties to Operation Blue Star. I'm sure the youngsters here will not even know what Blue Star was. Blue Star was the operations which was the storming of the Golden Temple and the aftermath of that. And this was when my daughter was to be born. My husband was away. My husband has also been into Op Pavan. Op Pavan is the Indian peacekeeping force in Sri Lanka. And he was sent on this Op Pavan just when I had to give my MS ophthalmology exams. So this is the kind of life we'll be, a life of uncertainty many times. The call duties. If you are posted as a single specialist, we are on call 24/7. Now these call duties in ophthalmology are not frequent, that I shall admit, but invariably they should happen that when I am entertaining and when I have guests at home, I will have a trauma case which I have to go and attend. So this was a standing joke with my husband. When we have guests, he used to wait for the phone to ring. So after my last of my guests had left, I would be going to the hospital to operate on some trauma case. The DMO duties. This is another thing which is unique to the army. Until 14 years of service you have completed, you are posted, you have to do by rotation the duty medical officer of duty hours. That means duty starts at 2 p.m, ends at 8 a.m. the next day. Then you get an hour's break to freshen up, you come back and do your regular work. So it's a 30-hour continuous duty. No post-duty off, irrespective of your seniority. No labor laws apply to us, all considered under exigencies of service. Now, in hindsight, I would say this has been a blessing to me, because these DMO duties, I would say, the duty medical officer duties, gave me the ability to handle any kind of emergency, be it a myocardial infarction, be it a crush injury, electrocution, burns, snake bite. I have seen them all and have helped in their initial management. Now, this gives an immense confidence to be able to handle emergencies. For in the army, they believe that the patient is not just an eye to an ophthalmologist, or just a ear to the ENT specialist, or just skin to the dermatologist. So we have to look beyond what is our specialty. Now, my life as an ophthalmologist, I will not say has been very exciting. I didn't go for any fellowship or any super specialty training, but there are few things I would like to highlight. Often I had to function as a sole ophthalmologist, especially in Jhansi, where I was the single ophthalmologist for 5 years. Now, at this time, I had to see the OPD, that is the outpatient department. I had to do the surgery, and I had to do the post-op rounds, and also carry on with other duties as assigned by the commanding officer. At these times, I used to sorely miss the presence of another ophthalmologist, sometimes to discuss a case, to take a second opinion, or to get some advice. So I had only recourse to books, which I should consult frequently, and I learned to take decisions. So now probably this experience has made me bold and decisive in my actions. Then there is another thing I found was, when I did my training, it was the days of the intracapsular cataract surgery. I learned that, and I started my service in the army doing that. Extracapsular had just entered. After it had been ostracized initially, it had just entered and IOLs had come in. I still remember one of my senior professors scoffing at it and saying, this is just a passing fancy, it is not likely to stay. But within a few years, I realized that extracapsular cataract surgery and IOLs are going to stay. So if I had to survive, I had to pick up the skill or I will perish. So I pleaded for an operating microscope at M.H. Jhansi. M.H. Jhansi is a small hospital. It's a small probably a couple of 100 or 200 bedded or 300 bedded hospital, but it catered to about 1,000 odd troops. For 1,000 odd troops, I was the sole ophthalmologist. Unfortunately, soldiers don't suffer from cataract. It is only their parents or their dependents. So when I asked for an operating microscope, funds are very limited in a small hospital and have to be used judiciously. So my pleas fell on deaf ears. So the next best thing, I decided to buy my own. I bought my first microscope from Upper Swami for a princely sum, 55,000 rupees those days, and which I paid in installments, and I started my surgery. Now first is I've got the microscope, now I have to learn surgery. So I liaised with a ophthalmologist from Jhansi Medical College. I used to visit his private clinic in the evenings, watch him operate, and learn the tricks of the trade. Then during my annual leave, I went to Chennai, went to the EGMO Regional Center of Ophthalmology, went to their OT and watched them operate. Finally, I had the confidence to start out on my own, and I carried on. Why this small narrative to especially the youngsters here is, you have to update your skills if you wish to survive. Otherwise, you will perish. Sometimes the task may seem daunting, but you have to find ways and means of doing it. There are a few pictures which I want to post here to show you with me and my husband in uniform. And this is my husband who has just come back from Blue Star carrying his infant daughter. Finally, before I end, I would like to say that I am proud that I was a part of this great institution and I have worn the uniform. I'm grateful to this organization for having given me this chance to see this beautiful country from the north, Leh and Ladakh, which are the few pictures I posted here, to Kerala in the south, from Rajasthan in the west to the Andaman Nicobar Islands in the east. This country is great because, not only because of its diversity, but because of its numerous men and women who are willing to lay down their lives to give their all for their country. I shall end with a quote by another soldier. The army man goes out to war, not because he hates his enemy, but because he loves his motherland more.